Hi, the position of the sun is probably one of the most important parts of your horoscope, which will tell you so much secrets about the person or about yourself, which can give you an indication even about your career, which can give you an indication of where to find actually the sun, as I have written here, will give you a sense of identity, the main role in your life. It will give you a sense of personal power, where you're going to get your personal power, your self-confidence, your self-esteem. And if you develop the house where the sun is situated, which I will teach you how to do this, you will gain all of those things. And usually the sun develops, starts becoming more visible and starts developing in the life, the energy of the sun, after the age of 30. So you might start seeing that you're filling up those roles indicated by the sun, and that your confidence and personal power starts coming better and better after the age of 30 and more visible. And how do you find which house the sun is situated in your horoscope at the moment when you were born? There are two ways, and I want you to check it both ways. It's complex to explain why, but there are two house systems, and I want you to check it both ways. They both work. One is based on the ascendant, on the signs. The other one is based on the separation of the space around by certain spatial measures, which is too complex to explain. Just make sure that you check both ways. Sometimes they will be the same, sometimes there will be a slight difference. How do you find the house system of the sun? You go to my website, AstroLada.com. You enter your time of birth. It's very important to know the house position of the sun. You cannot find it without the time of birth, because the house system are based on the time of birth. So this is only for people who know their time of birth at least within 10-15 minutes of exact time, and enter it. And once you get the chart, this is the chart I have. Those of you who know Western astrology, they might be using such a chart. It doesn't matter, it's the same, it shows the same. It's just the beginning of the chart that I have on my website starts here at the top, the first house. This is the horizon, the eastern horizon. The beginning is always the eastern horizon. We put it on the top in the in where my website is, but the Western chart will put the ascendant here on the on this side. You know, just the beginning of the two charts is different. And I want you to check where the sun is situated. The sun will be indicated by SU, the letters SU. And I want you to see in which of the squares it is situated, counting from the ascendant. So if this is always this first square is the ascendant, and this is how the other signs progress. So we want to see in what sign from the ascendant the sun is relevant to the ascendant. So you just count. For instance, the sun might be here. So you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's in the fifth sign from the ascendant. So you remember the fifth sign and you watch the video for the sun in fifth house. And I want you also to check in which house the sun is in relation to the Roman numerical numbers that I have on my website. They indicate house cusps. They're more specific. They're more how do I say, more sharp expression of the position of the sun. And for instance, here, it might be, where is the fourth square, it might be the third house cusp. It's the fourth sign from the ascendant, but it might be the third house cusp. And I want you to check if your sun is here, also the video for the sun in the third house. So basically, I want to, for instance, if your sun is like that, I want you to check the sun in fourth and in third houses, because both the number of signs the sun is from the ascendant will count as a house, and both the house cusp, which is with the sun will influence this house cusp. So the sun will feel like being in the third house and like being in the fourth house. And also here you might also have the cusp of the second house, the second Roman numerical, you know. So I want you, if you have two of those Roman numerical numbers, check both houses, third and second house, for the explanation of the position of the sun. For most of you, it will be very simple. Sun, it says here. If sun is here, it will be the second sign from the ascendant. So you check the second house and the second house cusp from the ascendant as well. For most of you, for 70%, it will be the same. The sign from the ascendant and the house cusp that is in that sign will be the same. But for some people who are born a bit to north, or too south from the equator, there will be a difference. And I want you to check specifically the Roman numerical number, what number it is. Check the video for that sign, for that house, and also for the number of the sun counted from the ascendant, in which square it is. Thank you. Sun in the third house, or third sign from the ascendant. The third sign from the ascendant means that when you count the squares, 1, 2, 3, from the first square, or here, the sun will be in the third square. And then also check which house cast the sun is together with, because sometimes the third house cast might be here. And if you see the sun here, also check the sun. And if you see the sun together with the third house cusp, the Roman numerical 3, check the prediction, not the prediction, check the video for the sun being in the third house. It will affect the third house. But usually, for most people, it will be in this square. In the same sign, the third sign will have usually the third house cusp as well. So what happens? Well, third house is the house of communication. So for those people, communications will be an area in life in which they can shine later on after their 30s. Usually sometimes early as well, but usually after 30, this area blossoms and the person develops much better. And I've seen, because the sun, as we said, is very much the main role of the person that they identify with, and often they turn it into a career. Often such people with the sun in the third house, they can write, or they can have a career where they're in media somehow, where they present, they talk, they give ideas, journalism, spreading information, chat shows, radio shows, anything which is about communication, learning new things as well. Third house is also teaching new skills. So these can be people who are good at teaching new skills, and they can have a very strong identification with those roles in their life. Guess where I have my sun? Well, I have it in the third sign from the ascendant, and that's why I'm teaching. I'm writing all the time. I'm doing media as well. But people who have sun in the third house, they will be strongly identified with chatting, phones, internet, anything which is to do with communications, with magazines, learning new things. Such people, they will be constantly curious like children. And they can shine in this area, as we said. It can be one of their career. And it can be a source of inspiration for them. You know, all those constant communications, they can make them feel more alive and vitalize them. Someone with sun in the third house, when they express themselves, when they talk, and when they teach, or when they do one of those third house activities, they shine up, they light up. So if you have sun in the third house, focus on this thing, maybe start writing, maybe start reading more, but usually the person already is like that, you know, and after their 30s, their communication improves, they become better communicators with others as well, and their sense of confidence will come also from their communication, you know. These people will feel so pleased and so happy with themselves after a nice chat, which nurtures them, nice exchange of information. Or these people, when they read something interesting, this is when their life they will light up, and they would want to spread immediately this knowledge. They would want to tell it to others. And such people should be experimenters as well, dabbling in different new things. It's the energy of Gemini, the third house. So these people should be hands-on, you know. Gemini is not a sign that just stays and thinks from the side. It gets involved, it goes there and plays with the dirt. So such people shouldn't be just sitting around contemplating, you know, thinking no, they should get involved. And usually after their 30th year of age, this is when they get very busy. Life gets very busy for them. The third house is the house of movement, moving here and there, and also a lot of travel. Such people can have a lot of travels, you know, constant movement around, and a lot of acquaintances and associates. Such people can have as well focus in dealing with others a lot, and having large groups of friends, or even if they're not friends, they're people that they just communicate on a daily basis with, and are quite engaged with those. And as I said, maybe this comes later in life as the sun blossoms after the age of 30. And as we said the personal power comes from communications, it comes from information, from knowledge. They gather a lot of knowledge, a lot of bits and pieces of information, those people. And they're quite courageous as well. The third house is the house of self-initiation, and when you have there the sun, they can self-initiate businesses, they can self-initiate a lot of things that others don't have the courage to. This is a very courageous position of the sun. So when you see this, usually after the age of 30, this person will become much more adventurous, much more third house rules adventurous, well, trying out new things. This is what third house is, trying out new things, experimenting, diving in, having the courage to dabble in. So especially after the age of 30, you see those qualities blossom in the person. And as I said, if you're feeling, for instance, I remember that before I was 30, especially in my late teen years, early 20s, communication, I felt very self-conscious about it. I felt like everyone is judging every word of mine when I communicate, and I would feel almost blocked to communicate. With some people I'd be blah, and with some people are just totally freeze, not being able to communicate. And after the age of 30, the sun blossomed, and watch me now. I can talk in front of anyone and audiences or whatever, but usually those qualities might be more difficult before that, but afterwards they blossom as well. So thank you so much. Please write to us what have you noticed with the sun in the third house. Do you identify with those qualities? And maybe fill in some information which I forgot to add. Thank you.